Vai! Sai daqui, velho! Vai!
Tá vindo, vai!
Vai! Vai, velho! Vamos! Cadê?
Vai!
From encountering dangerous criminals to encountering paranormal activities, cops have to face it all in their line of duty. Have you ever wondered what happens when cops realize they encounter paranormal activity? Do they get terrified or handle the situation with bravery? We will find out soon, as this video is going to reveal it all. On the 7th of March 2017, in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, a hospital CCTV camera recorded something that wasn't meant to be seen by humans. This footage was sent to the police department by Yogyakarta Hospital, as the staff thought a human might be involved in these paranormal activities. Cops were left speechless after witnessing this video. There were no signs of wind. The trees were still, and all the other stuff except this patient's bed was still. For a while, the bed kept moving in the forward and backward direction. Some unexplainable force was moving this bed, but wait for what is going to happen next. Yes, the bed was thrown on the grass side. It looked like some ghosts were playing with this bed. It might be some ghost or other creature that can't be seen on this camera. These things were only happening when there was no human around. Then this happened. When this man was filling his water bottle from the dispenser, the other bed also started moving. But as soon as he tried to approach the bed, it made a visible movement, though no visible force was around. So what was making them move? Some ghost or some other paranormal creature? Cops were left clueless about these activities. With that being said, let's move on to our next case. On March 2nd, 2013, Steve Smartringerhow visited Longleat and captured something chilling. He saw a ghost, or more accurately, the ghost's shadow, moving slowly down the stairs, wandering through the old house like it was searching for something or someone. legend behind this haunting goes back to Lady Louisa Carteret, who, at just 19, married Thomas Thynne, the second Viscount of Weymouth, in 1733. When she moved into Longleat, far from home, she brought her servants with her to ease the transition. But now, centuries later, something dark, something unexplainable wanders in the house. Lady Louisa's ghost is said to haunt the ground floor and servant quarters, desperately searching for her lost footman. Meanwhile, the footman roams the first floor, endlessly seeking Lady Louisa. They never find each other, trapped in an eternal search, their shadows passing through the dark halls of Longleat. It's as if their sorrow and longing have bound their spirits to the house forever.
I think I saw a ghost.
Will they ever find peace this way? But their presence is surely making the Longleat House famous for its eerie existence. Moving on to our next eerie paranormal footage. On September 20th, 2024, it was just another night for the cops on their routine bike patrol. Everything seemed normal, but then something happened, something very strange to believe. One of the cops suddenly froze, his eyes wide and empty. He slowly raised his hand, pointing down a dark alley. No one knew why he was doing this, but they found their answers soon.
Você concorda com ela?
Já que ela não vai salvar os filhos delas, vocês vão ser levados junto com os filhos dela.
The camera followed his finger, turning in the direction he pointed. That's when they saw it. A dark figure, unlike anything they had ever seen, moving toward them very fast. It didn't walk or run, it rushed toward them with the speed of light, its shape twisting in the shadows. They were all panicked. They knew they had to escape, so they ran, with chills running down their spines.
Que brincadeira?
Martin, o que você tá falando, velho?
But as they looked back, they realized something worse. One of their own, the cop who had pointed, wasn't running. He stood there, motionless. Whatever had taken him was beyond their control. All they could do was run and hope that the creature wouldn't catch them.
Vai! Sai daqui, velho! Vai!
Tá vindo! Sai!
Vai! Vai, velho! Vamos! Cadê?
Sai!
Cadê o...
Was it some paranormal creature or some other ghost wandering in the silence of the alley?
Que brincadeira?
Martin, o que você tá falando, velho?
With these questions still in our minds, let's move on to our fourth case. On June 26th, 2024, this YouTuber, Chamos, along with his friends, decided to install cameras inside the haunted house. Everyone said it was cursed, that no one could stay there without feeling the terror creeping in. They didn't know what to expect, but what they captured was beyond anything they had imagined.
Fala pessoal, bem-vindos a mais um vídeo. Hoje a gente vai fazer uma experiência de arrepiar nesse casarão aí, ó. Olha só, deixa eu mostrar pra vocês aqui, ó. Olha que casarão tenso. A gente já entrou ali, na verdade, rapaziada, e a gente já deixou câmeras ali dentro gravando. Elas estão gravando lá dentro nesse momento que a gente tá aqui. E vamos ver se elas capturam alguma coisa. A gente não vai deixar o local, porque aqui é o centro da cidade. Pode vir morador de rua aqui, dormir, querer passar uma noite. Eu acredito que ninguém passa uma noite nesse local, mas vai se saber. Às vezes o cara não sabe da história, não sabe que é assombrado, entra e acaba levando nossos equipamentos, né? E vamos ver, a gente vai deixar ali, vai ficar mais ou menos aqui fora uns 40 minutos, 1 hora esperando para ver se a gente grava alguma coisa lá dentro pra vocês, fechou? Tá aqui o Jota, né, Jota, pra fazer o vídeo.
Salve, galera.
Boa essa experiência de fazer isso aí, né, Jota, aqui?
Com certeza, é uma tentativa que a gente não vai estar lá, às vezes tem espíritos que não gostam, que a gente se aproxima, né?
Verdade.
A gente consegue, talvez, igual a gente filmou ali, aquele dia, né, que filmou lá.
The house was old and abandoned, and something about it just felt very eerie and wrong. There was a heavy silence, and every step they took seemed to sound louder than it should. But what gave us chills was the footage they observed later. Something that made even the bravest of them hesitate to step inside that house. Around 10:37 p.m., paranormal activities started to happen there. Movements of lifeless objects were recorded when no one was in the house. All of the stuff was recorded in their camera that they left inside that haunted house. The opening and closing of the sliding door, and footsteps on the stairs had no possible explanation as no one was around. The YouTuber claimed that, as they set up their cameras, hoping to catch something. As we stepped out, the door slammed shut behind us, out of nowhere. No wind, no movement, just that bang. His heart skipped a beat, and he wasn't the only one who felt it. A heavy, a very dark energy. The kind that makes you goosebumps all over your body. Then, around 10:58, the camera recorded that. Who was doing all this stuff? Paranormal creatures in the house, or the ghosts living there? They waited, watched, and observed from outside, hoping that the cameras were recording. Minutes and then hours passed, but the feeling didn't go away. Jota couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching us. Then they heard it again, a soft noise, as if something moving inside. Was it the wind? Or was it whatever haunted that place?
Mano, eu acabei de escutar uma porta fechar, velho. Se eu não tenho nada, parece que foi uma porta que bateu. Só tem que ver se a câmera tá posicionada certo pra ter gravado isso, tá ligado?
Porta ou janela ali.
Ou foi janela ou foi porta, nós devemos saber daqui. O Jefinho tá pressentindo alguma coisa aqui fora, mano.
É só um sentimento, mas
Deixa acontecer, eu quero primeiro dar uma olhada nas câmeras.
Mas a gente tá ouvindo barulho aqui de fora, né, Jota? Tá ouvindo barulho?
Aí eu acho que aquele barulho ali deve ter pegado na câmera.
Eu escutei passos lá dentro, cara. Daqui de fora.
Cara, é que aqui a gente escuta.
They weren't sure what was waiting for them in those recordings, but one thing is clear. Something is there, and it doesn't want them inside. With this visit to a haunted house, let's move on to our fifth case. On December 9th, 2020, this YouTuber was just wandering the woods when he came across this. At first, it looked like just some people performing their religious ritual, but it got terrifying when he stayed there for a few more minutes and understood what was going on there.
Se arrastra.
No, güey. No, no agredas, güey. No les avientes. Amigos, se van a encabronar, güey. Cuidado. Nadie interrumpirá.
Ya nomás está uno, güey.
Sí.
He didn't think much of it and kept watching from a distance, but then everything changed. The figures were not just praying, their movements became darker, slower, like they were preparing for something much more sinister. He stayed hidden, his heart pounding, hoping they wouldn't see him. But then he noticed it. In the hands of one of the figures, a small shape, too small to be anything but horrifying.
Es un ritual, amigos. Chequen. No mames. Una gallina, loco. Mira, ahí está el otro, El guardián, mira, ahí está. Ahí enfrente, mira. Ahí está el guardián, mira. Mira, ahí mero.
Yes, it was no ordinary thing, but a fetus. The witches were holding it, using it in their twisted ritual. A baby, too young to have a voice, caught in their evil ritual.
Ay, ¿qué fue eso, güey? Cuidado. Alabado sea el Señor, dice. Sí parece un feto eso. Chicos. Miren. Está marcado. Sí parece un feto eso, güey.
He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Chills ran down his spine, but he couldn't look away. The sound grew louder. The ritual was getting more intense with each passing minute. He was frozen in fear. He wanted to run, but he knew if they saw him, he might not make it out of the woods alive.
Ay, ¿qué fue eso, güey?
Cuidado, 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 cuidado. Alabado sea el Señor, dice. Sí parece un feto eso. Chequen. Sí parece un feto eso.
With this disturbing case coming to an end, let's move on to our next case. On the 14th of May 2016, this boy was about to go out on his bike when he realized something was wrong with his bike. It was around 4 p.m. and he started checking out his bike, but soon stayed here to figure out what was wrong with his vehicle. It was turning into his worst nightmare. Everything was normal at this point, but things were about to take a terrifying turn. As soon as he got up, after checking the motor, he tried to start it by grabbing both hand clutch and ignition switch. He was pushed. It was not just a normal push, but a brutal push by a black shadow that was quite visible in the CCTV footage. No one would have believed this boy if it wasn't recorded by the camera there. Though the boy stood up again, he was trembling in pain. He was thrown to the ground intentionally. Did the ghost have personal issues with this boy? What was the motive behind this attack? We will never have answers to such questions. On November 11th, 2021, it was a regular night in South Africa when the CCTV cameras in a quiet neighborhood started recording something no one was prepared to see. At first, the footage looked normal, just the empty street under a dark sky. But then, out of nowhere, a shadow appeared. It moved slowly, gliding across the road, its form twisted and unnatural. The witch wasn't walking. Floated, hovering above the ground on its witchcraft. As it reached the end of the street, it stopped. Something even more chilling happened next. The shadow started to change. It transformed into a human-like figure, but the limbs were wrong. Too weird, too thin. The camera caught every eerie detail as the figure began performing strange, slow movement, like some sort of dark ritual. The video cut out suddenly, leaving only silence and the deep, unsettling feeling that what had been captured wasn't meant to be seen. With that being said, let's move on to our 8th piece of footage. On August 8, 2011, someone decided to explore the Shapiro residence, not knowing that it was way more haunted than the rumors claimed it to be. Philip Shapiro and his family had lived there for years, but lately the strange occurrences were becoming unbearable. Doors slammed shut by themselves, objects disappeared and then reappeared in weird places. The kitchen was the worst. One night, on the advice of Dr. von Kosselter, Philip set up a camera, hoping to catch whatever was haunting their home. The house was silent. The windows were closed. No one was moving, but something else was.
Hello?
The kitchen light was moving by itself. The chairs in the kitchen began to stack themselves. One by one, they lifted into the air, almost as if invisible hands were arranging them. Philip watched in shock from the doorway, his camera catching everything. The temperature in the room dropped, and he could see his breath in the air. Slowly at first, like a gentle breeze was passing through the house, but the windows were closed. No wind, no reason for anything to move. The kitchen lamp swung harder and harder, as if someone was pushing it, yet no one was there. The video ends. Philip didn't even have to look to know where it had fallen. The chairs were now piled impossibly high. The poltergeist had made its presence known, and it wasn't finished with it. What was behind all these paranormal activities? With that being said, Let's move on to our last case. On August the 29th, 2016, almost 8 years ago, this creepy footage from a hospital nurse was uploaded on YouTube. This was first submitted to cops as the staff thought that it might be an intruder trying to scare the staff working late at night. If you look closely, you will see a black-orange shadow peeking from a door. It's not visible, but anyone with a good sight can observe that this creature kept exposing itself to the camera. The nurse was shivering in fear. She was not alone in the hallway, but as she was taking steps backward while keeping an eye on the shadow, it was trying to come nearer and nearer. The creature had a big head with skinny limbs. It was not a human or an animal. Maybe it was something from outer space or a ghost. We will always be clueless about such incidents. On January 7th, 2019, Alex Nunez, an armory security officer at the San Francisco Armory for over 5 years, experienced something he would never forget. The building, long rumored to be haunted, had always seemed quiet during his shifts, until that night. As he patrolled the empty halls, he suddenly heard the unmistakable sound of chairs moving in the lounge. There shouldn't have been anyone there. Gripping his phone, he started recording, his heart pounding as he walked toward the source of the noise. When he reached the lounge, he paused. Then, without warning, the 2 heavy doors to the lounge creaked open, swinging inward as if someone or something had passed through. Alex froze, staring at the empty room. The windows were all shut tight.
Oh, hell no. This is what I'm talking about, dude. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I'm here in this building by myself, bruh. By myself. Fuck.
He was completely alone, but the sound of footsteps echoed in his mind. In that chilling moment, he knew something was there, watching him from the shadows. In each of these eerie encounters, the presence of the unknown is undeniable. From haunted homes to shadowy figures lurking in dark alleys, these stories remind us that there are forces beyond our understanding. Whether it's ghosts, spirits, or something more sinister, one thing is certain. When the supernatural reveals itself, it leaves behind a fear that lingers long after the encounter. The line between the living and the dead is thinner than we think. For more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like this video. Comment below which case you find the most terrifying. Don't forget to press the bell icon for future notifications.